You know the oil barons. You know Rockefeller. You know Carnegie. You learned their names in school. You saw their empires glorified in textbooks. Their legacy is American history. But you never learned these names. Wilson Newman, J.C. Pratt, S.M. Holland, Heston Wellborn. In 1917, while Jim Crow laws strangled the South, these four black men did something the American textbooks never want you to know. They built an oil empire, and they did it in Oklahoma. The year was 1917. A group of white investors had given up on their 100-acre oil lease in the Healdton Oil Field. It was a failure. No oil. Just a water-filled 1,360-foot borehole and broken dreams. So, they walked away. But Newman, Pratt, Holland, and Wellborn saw what they saw. Opportunity. According to the American Oil and Gas Historical Society and documented records, they bought that abandoned lease. They formed the Ardmore Lubricating Oil Company, capitalized at $50,000. They set up offices at 319 and 321 East 2nd Street in Oklahoma City, the only place black businesses were allowed to exist, across from the railroad tracks, the wrong side of town. But they didn't care about wrong sides of town. They drilled. They hit pay dirt. According to documented reports from the Daily Ardmorite and company records, they struck high-grade lubricating oil. Not just any oil. Premium lubricating oil worth $10 a barrel when regular crude sold for $2, 5 times more valuable than the oil everyone else was drilling for. And here's what nobody tells you. They didn't keep the wealth to themselves. According to historical records, they sold shares to the black community for $1 each. $1. They made wealth accessible. They distributed opportunity. They built an economic ecosystem where black communities could invest, participate, and build generational wealth. By 1920, they announced they were building their own refinery in Tatums, Oklahoma, one of about 50 all-black towns that existed in Oklahoma during that era. A completely self-contained oil operation, from drilling to refining, all black owned, all black operated. Think about what that means. In an era when black Americans were denied credit, denied loans, denied access to capital markets, these four men created a financial structure that allowed their community to build wealth. They didn't just drill for oil, they drilled for economic independence. And then history did what it does best. It erased them. You learned about Phillips Petroleum, founded in 1917. You learned about Frank Phillips striking 81 consecutive gushers. You learned those names in school. But Newman, Pratt, Holland, Wellborn, not a single textbook, not a single mention, not a single acknowledgement that black excellence in the oil industry existed. The Healdton field that they operated in produced more than 200 million barrels of oil. 200 million. According to the American Oil and Gas Historical Society, that's the resource these four men accessed. That's the field they worked. That's the wealth they created. But the American oil history books don't mention them. Why? Because they struck fear into a system built to keep them out. Because their success proved that segregation couldn't stop black excellence. Because their wealth challenged the lie that black people couldn't compete in high capital industries. Now, because their existence contradicted everything Jim Crow wanted the world to believe, so they disappeared from history. For over a century, these names vanished from the narrative of American oil pioneers. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Frank Phillips, the names everyone knows, the empires everyone celebrates. But the four black men who built an oil company in the heart of Jim Crow, Oklahoma, forgotten. If this is the first time you're hearing these names, that's the problem. That's the erasure. That's the history the system worked to hide. Wilson Newman, J.C. Pratt, S.M. Holland, Heston Wellborn, write them down. Say them out loud. Because if you didn't know their names, neither does the world. And that's exactly how a system keeps a people out of their own story. They didn't just strike oil, they struck fear into a system built to keep them out. And for that, history buried them. Don't let them stay buried.